it's that time again to go through the movies that I've watched and if I can recommend any to you that you may not have seen. So let's get on with it. Rock until you drop. Dance until your heart stops. Rock until you drop. Alright everyone, welcome to Magpie Movies with me, COVID-infected Geordie Paul. Yep, still positive I'm afraid. It is Sunday the 27th of February. It is Mother's Day. My children are with my mum and dad in Whitley Bay. They're travelling down after their lunch. So the wife and I had a lie-in as such. I was in the spare room. She's in our room. But yeah, we're keeping separate just purely because I'm riddled, let's be honest. Which of course has given me the opportunity to do a video for you. Following on from yesterday's pickups of the lovely Westworld collection that I got, as well as The Walking Dead, which I'm really happy with. To be honest, looking through those again, they're a lovely collection, a lovely set, and lovely put out. And with regards to season 3 not having the Blu-ray in it, yeah, I think it's a misprint on the actual label of the outer slip. So yeah, I'm not too fussed with that. Anyway, the last time I did a what I've been watching video, it was around about the 10th of March. And I went through a few then. I'm going to go through a few here with quick, short bursts of reviews, what I've been watching, be it physically, digitally, streaming. So we're going to have Blu-rays, we're going to have DVDs, we're going to have Netflix, we're going to have Prime, and we're going to have Disney Plus. So let's get on with it, and I'll show you and tell you exactly what I've been watching. So here we are again with the lovely notebook that Big Paulie bought me when we were in Birmingham. I've made a list of movies that I watched, and then what I'll do is I'll put a split screen here. He says hopefully, because I always get this the wrong way around. So it could be here or here. But I'm going to put a picture of the poster if it's a digital, and I'll show you the physical copy of what I've watched. So we'll start off with a movie which I haven't seen. It is a 3D movie. And on the back of the big blockbuster which came out a few weeks ago, I watched the Lego Batman movie. Now, I believe this is an Australian import. I've had it for ages in my collection. I've just never watched it. So it comes with the 3D and the normal Blu-ray. Because I've got a 3D player up here, I wanted to watch the 3D version. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a good Batman movie. It was a lot better than I expected it was going to be. But yeah, so I think a lot of people who like Batman have seen this and enjoy it. I hadn't, but I did enjoy it. It's a good. I forgot the name of the guy who does the voice of Will Arnett. Is great as Batman. It's great. I can't even say his name. Zach Galifianakis as the Joker. He's not the best as Mark Hamill, is he really? But yeah, so looking at my reviews, what did I give this? Yeah, I gave this a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, definitely worth watching. Following on from that, I went through a kind of, how can I put this, Holocaust trilogy. I think, you know, the worst thing that could have ever happened in the last 100 and odd years. It should never have happened anyway. So I went through 3 of those. So I watched this film I saw twice at the cinema. I saw it with me and my friends, and I saw it with my grandfather, who's no longer with us. He was in D-Day landings and he was in the Navy and everything. And I went to see, and I watched Schindler's List again, this time on 4K. This is a film I've owned multiple times, VHS, DVD. I had it on Blu-ray, and as soon as it came out 4K, I had to get it. I own it on digital as well. But this film is just superb. It's funny to think that Steven Spielberg was directing this at the same time as making calls over to LA when he was in Poland making this, getting on touch with the Industrial Light and Magic with regard to T-Rexes attacking one of the cruisers, the Jeeps in Jurassic Park. So yeah, it's so random. But Schindler's List, such a good film. 3 hours, 15 minutes of absolutely shocking material. It's so good. For me, this should be in the national curriculum. Kids should watch this so they know what's happened in history, and it should never be repeated. I still get emotional at the end, when he has to leave the Jews from his work, and also when they go to Oskar Schindler's grave in Israel in the Holy Land. But yeah, I highly recommend Schindler's List. If you haven't seen it, please do. Not so much for watching it, but just this needs to be watched because it is a part of history which should never, ever be forgotten. But yeah, this one, full marks, 10 out of 10. I believe it won Best Picture at the Oscars. I could be wrong. Yeah, Best Picture Academy Award winner 1993. Yeah, it does, yeah. And it's highly recommended. Ralph Fiennes in this, as well as Liam Neeson, is amazing. And Benking. It's just awesome. This is awesome. So on the back of that, I then watched the Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Now, I started to watch this. Now, Big Paulie sent this to me because he said he'd watched it and he was going to get rid of it. So I said, could I have it, please? And he said, yeah. Now, I started watching this a few months ago, but I stopped because within Schindler's List, we've got German accents, Polish accents, not necessarily, and sometimes the language. They're all English actors, apart from the lady who's in, I forgot. See, I've got to keep looking on the back here. Vera Farmiga, who's out of the Conjuring universe. She's obviously American, but puts on an English accent to play a German. Yeah, again, harrowing. A lot of people watched this and said that they got upset towards the end. Yeah, it is harrowing. I didn't have that same impact with me. Schindler's List to me is a better Holocaust film, but of course, is there such a thing as a good Holocaust film? Not really. So, you know, Boy in the Striped Pajamas, again, I recommend you watching that. I gave that a 6.5 out of 10. So obviously a step down from Schindler's List with regards to filmmaking, but yeah, still highly recommend that. And then and then in the final of the trilogy of the Holocaust, I really don't want to call it that, I watched Adrian Brody and Roman Polanski's The Pianist. Now I have that on digital on iTunes. And before anybody says anything, iTunes is nothing wrong with having physical media as well as having iTunes. Whether you own it or not, I have it and it's on hand whenever I want to watch it. So anybody who says otherwise, this is a fool. But yeah, The Pianist, which is another great film about, obviously it says Adrian Brody plays a pianist who is going to get shipped off to Auschwitz or another concentration camp, but he escapes and he then, well, basically hides in Poland. Nazi conquered Poland, and it's another 2.5, 3 hour film. Again, highly recommend this. The Pianist is an outstanding piece of work. What did I give? I gave this one 8 out of 10. If you haven't seen The Pianist, it is very, very good, and I highly recommend it. Adrian Brody's great as the lead character in it, and it's brilliantly directed by Roman Polanski, who he was a lot of family members, if not himself, involved in the Holocaust back in the 30s and 40s in Poland. But yes, 8 out of 10 for The Pianist. So I had to take a quick break from recording there because the wife messaged me while I've been recording this to say that she's now tested positive for COVID. So that's me, my wife, and the mother-in-law. So God knows what I'm going to be doing with regards to kids drop-off, kids pick up from school, food shop. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, that was why there was a break. I know you don't notice in the break because you'll see a little black thing, but yeah. Yeah, so moving along, what else? So yes, so next one is a Kevin Smith film that I own on DVD because I picked it up from a charity shop for £1, I think it was. I had the American DVD, sold it, but yeah, I thought I'd pick it up again, and that is Dogma. And this is my second favourite Kevin Smith film after Chasing Amy. Really enjoy this one. It's just a typical Kevin Smith film, to be honest with you. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, what year is it from? 1999. Yeah, great film. I don't quite like the cover art. This does still need a UK Blu-ray release. But yeah, very good. I enjoyed this one. What did I give it? I gave it... oh, I haven't even written it down on here that I gave it anything. Anyway, I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. Dogma, very good. Very worth a watch. Yeah, holy and controversial. Is it? Is it controversial though? No, I don't think so. But yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for Dogma. Next up, we have a Danny Boyle film that I hadn't seen again since the cinema, which would have been in... Oh, what year was this film come out? 2007. Yeah, so I think it was a year before I moved down south. Yeah, which is Sunshine. I thought I'd give it another go. I've given it multiple chances to watch it. I've started it and then got disinterested, started it, got disinterested. But I thought, no, I'll stick with it. Yeah, enjoyed it. Once you get into it and then get stuck with the characters, it's very Event Horizon-esque. With Event Horizon, sorry to say, Danny, but it's much better film. I gave this a 7 out of 10. Enjoyable, worth watching. but maybe every 5 to 6 years you want to revisit it. It's not something you go back to revisit that often. But yeah, there's that one. And then I cracked open my Indiana Jones box set and I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark. Not Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, because the first one is called Raiders of the Lost Ark, although technically Temple of Doom, or Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom is the first one chronologically, but release date, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Watched it on 4K, crispy quality picture. Everyone's seen Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you haven't, what rock have you been under? I gave Raiders an 8.5 out of 10. Still a very, very good film, and I still thoroughly enjoying it. And you've got Alfred Molina, aka Doc Ock, at the very beginning as his guide as he goes into it. But yeah, there you go. 8.5 out of 10 for Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then I revisited another one of my favourite films from the 90s, which was Darkman. I revisited Darkman, and I revisited Darkman 2, which is called The Return of Durant. Darkman by Sam Raimi is very good. It's a dark comic book adventure with Liam Neeson in his first major Hollywood role as a disfigured Peyton Westlake who goes on revenge against Durant, his namesake, in the second half. The sequel. But I thoroughly enjoyed Darkman. It's such a good... if anybody said me what's your favourite comic book film, it's always Darkman. No matter what. I think just because when I was younger, I used to really, really enjoy it. To be fair, I still enjoy it now. The second one is shockingly bad, and the third one I started but I haven't finished watching because Liam Neeson isn't either of those. It's Arnold Vosloo, who is the mummy from the Mummy series. He's in those two, taking the lead as Peyton Westlake. But Darkman, the first one, is with Liam Neeson, and it's also got Frances McDormand as his other half. Obviously, we know her from Billboards and Nomadland, and obviously, but this is a, I guess, less serious role. So Darkman 1 for me is a solid 8 out of 10. Great film, thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's a lot better than some of the Batman movies out there. And Darkman 2 is crap, so I gave that a 5 out of 10. But as an overall enjoyment level, yeah, I enjoy them both, but Darkman is the better one. So if you ever get a chance to pick this up, because I don't think you can buy it individually unless it's a Shout or a Scream Factory release from America, but for the UK, it's the collection. Then I revisited another film I got from the charity shop, a DVD. And the more I watch DVDs on my telly up here, it's just, I don't know. I don't seem to to see a problem with watching them. But anyway, I watched Wolfgang Petersen's remake of Poseidon, which of course is the remake of the one from the 70s, which is an Irwin Allen production, I think. But yeah, it's enjoyable. It's got all these special effects and everything in there. But yeah, it was this one 2006? So obviously the ship is very much after the Titanic came out. But yeah, Kurt Russell's in it, Josh Lucas is in it. But yeah, worth a watch. Not as good as the original, as I remember, because I have seen the original a long time ago. But I didn't see a problem with this. 7 out of 10. It's a good movie. So those are all the physical media ones that I watched. So now we're going to move on to the streaming and digital, even though I've kind of mentioned Pianist, which was iTunes. But yes, streaming platforms. So first of the streaming platforms that I watched was on Netflix, and that was the Ryan Reynolds new one, The Adam Project. Yeah, so I went to this thinking, yep, don't mind Ryan Reynolds. I quite enjoy Ryan Reynolds films. He's funny. But The Adam Project for me was just your bog standard, run-of-the-mill science fiction film with Mark Ruffalo thrown in there as well as his father. It was enjoyable, a one-off watch, not something I would ever buy physically or digitally or anything, or own it. So yeah, so I don't really want to go into too much of this. If you want to enjoy your Ryan Reynolds film with him playing Wade or Deadpool, then you'll enjoy it. Ryan Reynolds has done better films. Free Guy is a better film than this. But anyway, The Adam Project is a 5 out of 10 film for me. One-off watch, but not that good. Next up, yeah, okay, so this is a controversial one. I watched, after it won a BAFTA for Best Picture, I watched The Power of the Dog with Benedict Cumberbatch, Kristen Dunst, and that cast of it. Yeah, I know this is a Marmite movie, I believe. A lot of people either love it or hate it or in the middle. For me personally, I didn't love it. I thought it was all right, not brilliant. I think, to me, The Power of the Dog, I even wrote this down here, is a Brokeback Mountain for the A24 generation. That's how I would, if I put a tagline on it, I would put Brokeback Mountain for the A24 generation, because I think it very much goes around looking at sexualization in the early 1910s, 1920s, especially out in the West. Don't get me wrong, Benedict Cumberbatch's portrayal in this is very, very good. He's excellent in this. He's very, very good. I can't say how good he is because it wouldn't do it justice, but Benedict Cumberbatch is amazing in The Power of the Dog. But for me, the violin strings and the cellos and everything you could hear was overwhelming. It was on for too long. Very similar to The Green Knight. Had too many pan shots. It's too arty-farty. But it was all right. You know, it wasn't as bad as The Green Knight, but it's not that good. Best Picture, still for me, would be Dune. This, no. So yeah, Power of the Dog, I gave it a 6.5 or 6.5 out of 10. No, just not for me. But I watched it. I gave it a chance, but it wasn't for me. After that, I watched, I think, yeah, two more things I watched. I watched Fresh on Star via Disney Plus with, God, I've forgotten the guy's name. Winter Soldier guy. Sebastian Stan. Yeah, watched that. Watched the trailer first and it said, after 30 minutes, my jaw dropped and it never came back up. No. This film's on for 2 hours and it's bang average at best. A guy who drugs a lass, takes her back, and then things happen after half an hour, which I'm not going to go into because it'll spoil the movie for you. But it's been there before. We've all seen films like that before, you know, as a horror fanatic or anybody like that. You'll watch it and go, God, we've seen this all before. It's almost like they've made a horror film more mainstream to put into Star, and people are like, oh, it's so disturbing. Christ, it's not disturbing. If you think that's disturbing, you need to open your eyes, love. But yeah, bang average. Fresh on Star, Disney Plus, 5 out of 10. It's just average, not very good. And then finally, via Prime, I think I had this thing, I don't know what it was, but I watched, but like, I went to bed one night, I was like, oh, you know what, I fancy watching Dances with Wolves. Now, I remember I had it, but I sold it to CEX, and I remember I got it on my Google Play account, and there's nothing wrong with watching a film by Google Play. You don't have to have it physically if you can watch the film. But yeah, but then I found it on Prime with the extended cut, which is on for 3 hours, 53 minutes, and I was like, But obviously I was off sick on Thursday, Friday, so I put it on. Still a very good film. It's been a long time since I watched it. But yeah, I'm not going to go about Dances with Wolves, about a guy who's, the Civil War goes out to the outpost on the frontier, everybody's left because I've got supplies. He then meets the Indians there, the good ones and the bad ones, befriends them, so on and so forth. And it's about his journey of self-discovery for himself, as well as him with the Indian nation and making friendships and bonds and enemies. It's all that kind of stuff, finding love. But yeah, Kevin Costner directed it. He obviously leads stars in it. But yeah, it's a very good film. I gave it an 8 out of 10. So yeah, so that's it. So Dances with Wolves is the last film I watched, which was, what day is it today? It's 27th, which is Friday, which is the 25th. So I did my pickups video yesterday and I thought I'd do this today. So of all the films that I've watched today, watched between the 11th and the 26th of March, the ones that I would stick out with for people to watch if you haven't already seen them is Darkman with Liam Neeson, the first one. And as I said earlier, as a necessity, everyone should see Schindler's List. Yeah, so those two I'll watch this month. I recommend, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's enjoyable, and this is it needs to be watched because it happened and it needs to be continuously in the public domain. But yeah, there you go. That's it. So thank you for sticking to the end. I hope you haven't. Has he finished yet? Fallen asleep watching my video there. But yes, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like what you see. There'll be more videos coming soon. I know I'm not still doing the live streams, but I really want to come back to live streams, but I just don't have the oomph to kind of do it. I've kind of lost a bit of interest in it, and there's a lot of people doing live streams as well, and everyone's doing the same, and unless I have a better idea of doing something different to the live streams, I don't just want to be the person that follows the herd, basically. And that's no disrespect to anybody else that does a live stream, because they're all good. It's just, I think they're all samey. But yes, thank you for watching. This is Jody Paul, last surviving member of Magpie Movies. Still positive with COVID, sick of it, but it is what it is, and there's people out there which are far worse than me. So thank you again for watching. I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye for now.